What's a day like today like? Obviously, with the way the last month's been, does it feel different at all being out here? Is it cool to be able to come back out and just talk to people and see people, Dodger fans again?
Yeah, I think obviously since signing in Boston, there's been a lot of questions. What are we going to do with our foundation? Are we staying in Los Angeles? And we want to make sure everyone here in our city understands that the foundation isn't going anywhere. We're still going to be putting on events and raising money, and we've been trying to put together a blood drive for several months now, and it just so happened that they usually don't come out and do this on Sundays, but we asked if we can do it on JT Day in LA the 22nd, and CHLA was completely on board with it and wanted to do it. And it started out as just that, just the truck coming out and doing a blood drive, and it's turned into everything you're seeing out here today. And it's just kind of the way the Dream Center rolls, and it's kind of how we roll as a foundation. Just pick up the phone, make some phone calls, get as much support as we can, and then try to put together a great day for everyone in the community for great causes.
It's kind of having a couple weeks just removed from like all the free agency stuff, has that sunk in any different way? Like when you look back, like kind of what do you think about or just feel about leaving here, signing with the Red Sox? How much has that sunk in so far?
Yeah, I think it's still fairly fresh. We've been pretty busy with not only JT Day in LA, but we also have our golf tournament and kickoff party coming up in a few weeks. So we've been very busy with the foundation, and I think it'll probably sink in a little more once we're heading out to Florida for spring training instead of Arizona. But regardless of anyone's opinions on what should have happened or what did happen or what went down, I don't think anything's going to take away from the 9 years that I had in LA as a Dodger. It was absolutely incredible ride that I was on, and I'm so grateful for so many people that have taken us in and made us feel a part of the Dodger family, but also at the same time, looking forward to this next chapter and getting out to Boston and playing for the Red Sox, another outstanding organization. So.
What has that adjustment been like so far? Obviously, I know like guys were kind of pitch you to come there. What's it been like since that became official, and you're getting just kind of comfortable with that team?
Yeah, text messages and phone calls, just talking to guys. The biggest adjustment so far is I have to find a place to live in spring training and have to find a place to live in Boston now, which I haven't had to do for the last 8 or 9 years. So that in itself has been an adventure, but I'm sure we'll get that nailed down at some point. And again, just excited to be a part of the organization. I know they have their Fan Fest going on this weekend in Boston, and we had already had this day planned, so I wasn't able to make it out there. And a little sad I couldn't be there, but also, this is a pretty important day for us too in our foundation.
Not to belabor the free agency thing, but are you surprised that you guys couldn't work out something here to stay with the Dodgers?
I don't think it does anyone any good to go back and speculate as to what happened. I'm a Red Sox, and I'm happy to be a Red Sox. I'm looking forward to going and spending my time in Boston. And like I said, I don't want anything to blow back or taint the last 9 years that I had and everything that we've accomplished in that time period. It's been pretty remarkable for Court and I and our foundation and my career and everything that's come along with it. So I'd rather celebrate the 9 years than talk about maybe what could have been or should have been or didn't happen.
Is that kind of like when you said like free agency can be like not fun at various points? Like, yeah, it's kind of that.
And I think you heard that from a lot of guys, how tough free agency is. I think everyone has this picture in their mind of what they want or how they think it's going to go, and it just never really goes according to plan. So but again, happy to be a Red Sox, excited for this new chapter, and this is kind of a good way to put a bow tie on everything and say thank you to LA for one last time, even though the foundation isn't technically leaving Los Angeles.
The most?
Yeah, I think, man, it's hard, and honestly, a lot of them kind of blend together. We've had such a great run over the last 9 years, and I couldn't be more proud of what we accomplished. And 2017 was obviously probably the biggest roller coaster year for sure, with how great everything went, and the walk-off, and going to the World Series for the first time, and we did the sports cover magazine, and talking about the greatest team ever, and then the way it ended, and the lows were extremely difficult. And then it was kind of the opposite of in 20, right? The season gets shut down, the pandemic starts, we don't know if we're playing, sitting at home trying to figure out what's going to happen. It was the birth of the Holding Court podcast, so that was also a good thing about 2020. But just the uncertainty, and then finding out we're having a 60-game season with a whole new playoff format, and making that run down 3-1 against the Braves and the NLCS, coming back and then beating the Rays to finally bring another championship back to LA. So both those seasons I think are pretty special, and it's kind of weird how they kind of had the opposite effect, right?
I feel like the fans, you included, have such an emotional connection to those group of players from 2015 to 2021. Yourself, Kike, Jock, Kenley, Kershaw, those guys, Seager. Can you describe just what you guys had? Because it seemed to be a lot more special than what we saw on the surface.
Yeah, 2020 was unbelievable team, and just the amount of unselfishness that took place that year was like nothing I've ever seen. The guys that, whether they were in the lineup or not in the lineup, or were expected to pinch hit or come out of the bullpen, Julio, who is by far one of our most consistent starters we've had since I've been a Dodger, and he's going into the bullpen, taking the ball and closing down games and doing whatever's asked of him. Kike pinch hit homers, Jock platooning, just so many things that went into that, and guys just all in to win. You just don't see that very often, and that, I think, separated that team. And Joe Kelly had a lot to do with that too. He was a big part of that team. Next thing I know, everyone's running out of the dugout, and I didn't even know what happened, so I had to go back and kind of see what happened. But a good friend of ours, Jonas Never, who's a big time portrait painter, obviously made sure that photo is going to stick around in LA for a long time. He did a mural of that.
No doubt. And I guess we can all agree as well, signature moments of Justin Turner's Dodger career. Obviously the walk-off home run against John Lackey and the Cubs in 2017, Game 2 of the World Series, and the tag, the reach during that 2020 World Series. Am I missing any signature moments? There are quite a few moments, but those seem to be the two that stand out.
Oh man, yeah, that's a big one. Obviously, you're forgetting my 0 ERA as a pitcher.
Oh, I know, you love that.
Yeah. What do you mean I love that?
It's not great for me to see a position player on the mound.
Me and Russ Martin.
I know.
0 ERAs. Dodger history.
Were the Dodgers winning that game that you came in?
No, I actually pinch hit and popped out, and I was so mad that I popped out that I didn't even really enjoy pitching. Because I was angry that I got out.
You had to control your emotions on the mound.
I did. And there was actually a yo-yo. Like, they weren't sure if they were going to let me pitch. Like, Dave didn't really want to let me pitch. I had to, talk him into it. No, do not throw Vesia. Save him. We're going to need him in the next series. I'll go out and pitch. So I had to talk my way into that one.
I can't believe you still bring up the pitching. That after everything you've accomplished, pitching in that game still is one of the first things that come to your mind.
One of the things I'm most proud about on the pitching was the PFP. There was a ground ball to first, and I remembered to go over and cover first, which is difficult for a lot of pitchers. So I have that in my arsenal now for the rest of my career or coaching career to be hey, it's not that hard. I'm not even a pitcher, and I did it. Ground ball to first, ground ball to the right side, and go cover first base. Look, here's the film. I did it.
So you mentioned coaching career. One day, do you see
I might have got ahead of myself.
Coach?
I didn't mean to open that can of worms.
That's what the fans want. They want you back with the Dodgers after you're done playing in some baseball capacity. Do you feel like you see the game as a coach or a manager now?
Some baseball capacity is a good way to put it. I love the game. I don't know if Courtney wants me to be home all day, every day.
She does not.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'll stay in the game in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if it's going to be you know, the Oral and Nomar talking about the game in the booth. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, the Chase Utley special advisor in and out, you know, helping out behind the scenes, or if it's going to be, you know, in the dugout somewhere.